remember that. And that just, it took me a while to look from the left shoulder to the right shoulder.
Please introduce yourself to the people.
I'm Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Mr. Olympia and All Classic champion. And I want to thank y'all for staying so long, because this is, I know this can get kind of boring after so long, but thank y'all for coming out and staying so long and listening to us be as boring as we possibly can be. But they just said Arnold is coming up in 15 minutes, so be a little bit more patient, please.
Hey, he's just going to have to wait, all right? It is what it is. We got champs to get to. Speaking of champs, somewhere in between all your Olympia titles, you found time to actually get on an Arnold stage, which at the time you got criticized for. People thought maybe it was a bad move. What's he doing? He's the champ. Why put your title on the line if he gets beat? All that stuff. You didn't care about any of that stuff. But what, as Mr. Olympia at the time, what made you want an Arnold Classic title?
Well, Mr. Jim Lorman called me and told me he was giving away a Hummer, and I always wanted one, so I'm like, I'm in.
You know, I always love you for that, Ronnie. Again, we've done many interviews together, and you actually got into bodybuilding. For what reason?
Well, this guy told me he'd give me a free membership to the gym, and at the time, I was real poor, and I couldn't afford a membership, so I'm like, you had me at free, buddy. But it took some, you know, some convincing, because my first day there, he told me I could be Mr. Olympia, and I'm like, what is that? Never heard of that title. Second day there, he's like, you can be world champion. I'm like, I don't think so. My third day there, he's like, I'm telling you, you can do this. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this. I'm a police officer. And I like eating hamburgers and pizza and all that kind of stuff.
So does Vince, but he won doing that for 20 years.
Yeah, but I didn't know that at the time. Right. And the fourth day, he said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a free membership to the gym if you compete. I'm like,
done.
You had me at free.
So you got into competing for a free membership, and you went in the Arnold because he was giving away a Hummer.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice. Well, listen, as it would turn out, a lot of people dispute where the best Ronnie Coleman has ever been on stage. Some people say 98, some people, but a lot of people say 2001 Arnold stage. What do you say?
I'm going to have to kind of agree with them. That was one of my best looks. That in 1998 Miss Olympia.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and I've asked you this before, Ronnie. I said, if I lined up all the Ronnie Colemans on stage from the Olympias, all you guys against each other, who wins?
Me, every time.
Sorry, you got that right. No doubt about it. Well, Ronnie, obviously everybody knows your story. And unfortunately, you've had some injuries that have required major surgeries over the last couple of years.
Like 8 of them.
Yeah, and another, unfortunately, I was just talking to Ronnie earlier, and a 9th one coming up this week.
Yeah, Thursday, and I just got out the hospital Friday.
I mean, aren't they using strong enough screws? How do you keep snapping screws that they keep putting in you?
I don't think they made screws for a guy like me.
No.
I'm like one of a kind, I think. I've snapped like 2 or 3 of them so far.
Jeez.
And keep snapping. So hopefully they come up with something that's going to work for me, because I'm tired of all these surgeries, for sure.
Well, Ronnie, I'm going to let you cut you short, because I know you want to probably get back
sitting.
Thank
you, sir. Appreciate it, because it's Kevin time anyway.
Yeah, it is. Well, one of the best of all time, Ronnie Coleman. There is no quit in Ronnie Coleman. He's, in between surgeries, I'm not making it, he gets back in the gym and trains. If anybody sees his videos out there, I ain't making it up.
The night lay waste to all we'd given, but honestly, you've gotta know that this ain't living, but we could run from Elysium and let it burn.
Coleman comes out back in the day as a multi-Olympia champion and announces to the world, I'm going to do the Arnold. I want the Arnold title. He says he wants the Hummer, but I actually think he wanted the title. But what did you think at that time of an Olympia champion coming onto your stage for your title?
Well, first of all, Ronnie was he was kind of like he was breaking through from where we were in size, and all of a sudden he became kind of a whole new dimension. You know, there was like just lumps and mass.
He's very lumpy.
I mean, yes. It's like, I remember that he and we talked, and he was standing right in front of me just before he went out on stage. And I remember that, and that just, it took me a while to look from the left shoulder to the right shoulder. You know, just I kept going like this, going like this. The shoulder was just so wide, especially when he did his lat spread. I mean, it looked like the curtain closed, and there was no more light coming through. So I mean, it was really unbelievable, you know, to see that. And he was such a graceful poser also at the same time. So it was really a whole new dimension in bodybuilding. And I think that he showed to bodybuilders that there's a whole other way of, in as far as size and proportion that you can go. And I think that he broke through that. And since then, a lot of the guys have broken through that and have gotten much, much bigger and more impressive.
I don't care where you're sitting.
Never taking whatever you told me. I know what I could be, making the most paintable answer. Tell me, is this what you made me?
first of all, let me just say, Ronnie, thank you very much for competing and not going with the advice that some people gave you not to compete. I know it was tough, but anyway, congratulations. Thank you for being here. And I hope that you say the same thing as I always say, I'll be back. I'll be back. Very good. Give him a big hand.